So I'm breaking this down into two videos about Hodgkin's treatments and side effects. And I'm going to first just talk about Hodgkin's disease and then about the treatments. Hodgkin's disease was first identified by Thomas Hodgkins back in the 1800s. And he really didn't know much about it other than the late-term fatal side effects of the disease, or the effects of the disease. And then later we have two people, Dorothy Reed and Reed-Sternberg, who identified the classic Reed-Sternberg cell, both of them independently on other sides of the world, which looks something like this on the back of my head, right over here. You can see the lion and then whoops. Okay, so let's not get too happy with that. Back. Here we go. Okay, so Reed-Sternberg, or Reed and Sternberg cell. So it's basically a giant mutated B cell, and that decides to wants to live forever and take over the party and destroy everything. Anyhow, you know, who wants to live forever? Apparently they do. And they want to kill everyone in order to do it, which would be me. So, it can only be diagnosed with a biopsy. You can show indicators in your blood, usually in the later stages. But other than that, there's no way. It's not like someone can look at you and say, "Ah, I know you have Hodgkin's," or they can look at your blood and say, "Aha, you have Hodgkin's." It doesn't work like that. The symptoms of the disease, it can mimic a lot of other diseases and conditions. Anyhow, if it's untreated, or if you use natural therapies, we have two biopsy-confirmed studies that actually cover that. These days it doesn't go untreated at all, usually, except for you unfortunate fellows out there who think that you're smarter than modern science. Anyhow, so the two studies, we've got Croft in 1910 and, what's his name? Greco in 1962. And in Croft's study, the modal survival rate, which if you guys took high school math, there's means and there's modes. Means is when you take everything, add it together, and divide it by the number. And mode is if you look at the big kind of the statistical chart, the mode would be that big cluster where the most is. So the modal survival rate in Croft's 1910 study, once again, biopsy confirmed, 16.6 months, so a little over a year. And then the 5-year survival rate would be less than 5%. And in Greco's 1962 study, 19.7 months. And 5-year survival was 10%. This is in 1962. So modern medicine had maybe helped people live a little bit longer, or maybe not. I'm not sure what the size of the studies were, because I couldn't find the data online. There you go. Anyhow, when they started treating cancer, they started with radiotherapy, and that had some success. And then in the 1940s, they started using nitrogen mustard, which was the first chemotherapy, and that boosted it a little bit more. And then in the 1980s, they found or came up with the ABVD treatment in that combination, and that has been the most successful treatment. And they're still looking at other medications to improve things, but ABVD is basically it's awesome. It works so well. It's been around for, nearly 40 years now. So these days, the big thing with ABVD is people are surviving for so long that they're trying to balance the costs of treatment in the long term with the benefits of treatment, which means you live longer. So that's what current studies are, and then also with people who have unsuccessful treatment, they're still looking into ways to see if they can increase their survival rate and things like that. So Hodgkin's lymphoma, less than 1% of all cancers that are diagnosed. It's kind of uncommon. Lucky us. We get to win the lottery, the one that no one wants to win. So, on the other hand, it is one of the best known and most curable cancers out there, especially if they find it early. If they find it in stage 1 or 2, the cure rate with ABVD is 90 to 95%. So it's amazingly curable if they find it early. But then there are those of us, like me, who get caught later. So for someone like me who has stage 4 with the B symptoms, which, yay, B symptoms, haha. So anyhow, if you're in that category, it's you got 65% chance that you'll live for 5 years. But don't get too depressed, because there are people who are still cured with that stage. You might be one of the lucky ones. I might be one of the lucky ones. We'll find out. Anyhow, standard ABVD treatments. After 5 years, even if you get diagnosed late, you're more likely to die from other things than you are from the cancer. So, you know, there you go. Anyhow, okay, let's see. Oh, so ABVD. 3 of those drugs are derived from natural sources. The adriamycin and the bleomycin, AB, are derived from the Streptomyces soil fungus. Not exactly something you would think, dig in the garden and whoo, there it is. And then the vinblastine, the V, ABV, is derived from a periwinkle plant, the Calycanthus rosea, which I think it's a Madagascar variety of periwinkle plant. Really cool, special variety. They take 2 compounds out of it, then they mix them up in a special way, and then they put it into you. Yay! And it saves you. So, natural sources. The last one is made from some chemical components. Anyhow, with those, you know, you might be saying, well, why can't I just get those from their natural state? Why can't I just take a pill from this plant or something like that? Well, guess what? They're poisonous. And if you decide that you want to orally take it, it is going to make you horribly sick or kill you. The only way that you can actually put the A and the V, the adriamycin and the vinblastine, into your body safely is through your veins. So you have to inject it in a vein, and if it approaches your body in any other way, on your skin, in your mouth, into the muscle tissue or the fatty tissue, it basically just destroys tissue. So that's one of the reasons that they advised me to get a port. So I've shown you guys this before. This is my lovely, and by lovely I mean it's disgusting, port. I don't know, on the other hand, it's kind of like I'm a mutant or a cyborg, medical cyborg. Anyhow, the port, very beneficial. It's going to save your veins and save you a lot of pain. I know I've watched a video with a fellow who had a PICC line, and he was describing the horrible pain of having the drug go in through the PICC line. Don't do it. Get a port. It makes your life easy. So, yeah, the port, it's got a little, basically a plastic shell right here with a surface that they can repeatedly stab with the correct kind of needle. And then it's got a line that you can also see that goes up, 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 there, into the jugular. And hey, the jugular is a nice big vein for them to deliver the medicine. And what else? Yeah, they're poisonous plants. Oh, so what makes it dangerous is also what makes it beneficial. So basically you've got these mutant cancer cells that are out there to live forever and divide forever really, really fast, and they grow really fast. You know, the Reed-Sternberg cell is like this, and then the normal lymphocytes are like tiny little guys like that. Anyhow, so while it's killing off those quickly dividing and multiplying and growing cells that want to live forever and whatnot, it also causes the side effects because it can't tell the difference between the good cells and the bad cells. So that's, you know, all your fast-growing cells start to have problems. Anyhow, that's going to be my next video. So this is your introduction to Hodgkin's, and there's more information out there. You can also read up on international studies on Hodgkin's and success rates, and one of them was awesome. It says that the US and, let me see, Australia and New Zealand and one other place have the best treatment successes with Hodgkin's. So hey, I'm in a good place, and hopefully you are too. So next video up will be ABVD side effects for me personally.